Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Oweleketv. My name is JIBRIN, and today we are having our regular guest and a distinguished legal practitioner, Barrister A.A. Manta, who is the principal partner of his chamber, A.A. Manta. His office is situated in Kaduna, and he operates as well from Abuja. We shall be talking about basically politics generally today. We shall be talking about the update. We will be giving you update on the Tinubu FBI release. We shall be giving you, talking about the state of the nation. Is the nation healthy at the moment? What is the current status of the nation's health diagnosis? Is there an end? Is there an end? Do we have an end in sight to the collapsing of the middle class? With having President, of course, based on the Supreme Court, by the Supreme Court's judgment, it's obvious Tinubu has come to stay. Legally, he has come to stay. I don't believe he will remain, but legally, he has come to stay. As such, do we see an end? We have an end in sight to the decimation of the middle class with President Bola Tinubu. Then the next is what are the solutions? What if we do not have any end in sight? What are the solutions, or what is the solution to the many woes of Nigeria today? Then we shall actually begin with the last on the list, which is the River State politics. So many things have happened lately and are still unfolding with River States between the present governor and the immediate past governor, Yeson Wike. So let's get on the topics immediately as we welcome once again Barrister A.A. Manta. Barrister, you are welcome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for availing yourself, as always, the privilege, giving us this privilege to actually have you regularly on our show. You are welcome once again. Yes, Barrister, please, first and foremost, before we move forward, do we have any updates? Is there something you can tell us about the FBI release of Bola Tinubu's documents?
As we spoke, as I spoke on this program the last time,
yes,
I told you that the lawyers of Tinubu approached the court in the US to delay the release, to order a 30-day delay of the release of the documents that the FBI, Internal Revenue Service, and other agencies had intended to release by end of October. Apparently, they got their way, and the process has been put on hold. They needed, according to them, 30-day period to review the documents that were intended to be released so that they can mark out those ones that have privacy regulations attached to them. Apparently, the court agreed with them. And so
hold on. Sorry to cut you short. Did you say who is to review the documents to be released? Is it the FBI or the Tinubu camp?
Both the Tinubu camp together with the FBI.
Hold on.
Will review.
But let me ask. This is I don't get it. Is legally, is that supposed to be? Does FBI is it required for FBI to liaise with the what do you call it in law? Is it required by the FBI to actually liaise with the person, the subject, the subject matter, or the person of interest?
You see, this question can be answered by reviewing the process, how the process began. Let me make it clear that this is not a court process, stricto sensu. It is what is called freedom of information request, that any citizen can request a public office to release information pertaining to any activity or subject matter. So it didn't have anything to do with the court, up to the point that the FBI agreed voluntarily to release part of the documents that they held. The court only came in when Tinubu's camp, first of all, when the person who requested for the freedom of information request asked a court to order FBI to accelerate the release. And then Tinubu's camp also came in to ask the court to delay the release, to order a 30-day review, so that some of the documents that are prospective documents to be released may be subject to privacy laws. So you see that it is not, if it were a court process, it will not apply. But this, as we speak, is not entirely a court process. It's now that they are trying to make it a court process.
All right, that's understandable. Thank you so much for that update and the clarification at the same time. Now, coming back to politics, what the hell is going on in Rivers State? What is the craziness and madness that is just? This is just too. What is wrong? I don't know what is going on with that state. Honestly, that state is a very very hot spot when it comes to political controversies. Can you give us a detailed analysis or opinion of what is really going on in Rivers State, or explanation rather of what is going on in Rivers State?
Yes, what is happening in Rivers State now, as far as Nigerian politics is concerned, is not out of the ordinary. We have seen this kind of things before in Nigerian politics. It comes down to the godfather and his godson disagreeing. Immediately the godson gets to power. If you remember, Governor Nyesom Wike was the last governor of Rivers State before the present Governor Fubara. He single-handedly brought the governor into power, so to speak, by making him the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, and then moving all levels of power, both financial and otherwise, to ensure that he won the election. Now, in the Nigerian political scene, where a godfather sponsors you into office, you do his bidding. There are extreme cases that we saw in the past where they took the godfather even took the candidate to shrines to swear. If you remember the Ngige, Anambra case, where the governor was allegedly taken to Okija shrine and made to swear.
Yes.
And other fetish stuff. And immediately when he became governor and he started disagreeing with his godfather, he was kidnapped.
Yes.
At that point, we have had various in Benue State. You will remember the current secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, brought Suswam, installed Suswam as governor. No sooner had they started than they fell apart. A bitter struggle. He also brought Samuel Otom, and they also fell apart. In Otom's case, there was also an attempt to impeach him, but the attempt failed. So what you see happening in Rivers State is not a somebody who is not familiar with the Nigerian politics, it will be strange to him, but we that are here and seeing what is happening, it is not strange to us. In fact, you can say that many of us anticipated a situation like this. The fact is that when you become the governor, with all the executive powers that the governor have, and then you are taking instructions on almost everything from somebody, a time is coming when that cord will be broken, where that relationship will have strength.
Excuse me. Yes, but my point is this. Just like you, we expected such thing. It's been there forever. So that is the modus operandi of the Nigerian politics, unfortunately. My point is this. This is really too early. Too early. Just barely a couple of months. Okay, more than a couple of months, but it's been just a few months. That in all these cases you just stated, the past cases, it took a couple of years, sometime a year or a couple of years or whatever. It takes long time, because at least at that first instance, the godson seemed to comply with the whole stuff, with the instruction, with the agreement, stick to the agreement until it gets to a point where he could no longer accommodate that, sort of. But in this case, it has not even started. Of course, the governor just assumed office few months ago. I don't know why it started this early. It's like, obviously, I think the governor had this in mind to do it this way. He just played along with because if it's happening this quick, this fast, it means that he played along. He chose to play along and pretend to Wike until he gets there, sort of. Otherwise, it is just too quick, sort of. Obviously, he has not. He don't want to start even. He don't want to start it at all. To comply. Other governors, other instances you just gave, I think they started complying. They did it to overtime. They did it up to some level. They did it up to a time where they now feel this is no longer tenable, where the country cannot, the state can no longer afford this. Sort of. But in this Fubara case, he just started it from the onset that he's just not going to comply. And I was told it's about issue of 2 billion naira that is supposed to be remitting to what's his name, Wike. So how true is that?
Well, let me say that you have to understand, number one, that Wike is a very combustible and mercurial person. It will not take much to fall out with him because of his character.
Right.
And then again, people say that it is the bright day. Or let me quote Chinua Achebe, that it is the bright day that brings forth, Shakespeare. It is the bright day that brings forth the other, that craves worry walking.
Yeah.
So as early as there are, the manifestations of disagreement have already shown themselves. So if you see or know the character of Wike, you could see that he will not wait, he will not delay. At the very first instance of betrayal, according to him, he is going to act. And then we have heard that, well, it was because he wants, it's not 2 billion, that he wants 20 billion monthly.
Whoa, 20.
Something like that. Then we have also heard other stuff that, there were projects that Amechi started in River State that Wike put a stop to when he became governor. Now we heard that the Fubara wanted to reinitiate and continue with those projects. And that would be like a slap in the face of Wike. Then there is a metro, a road, a super highway that they wanted, ring road that they wanted to build around Port Harcourt. It was supposed to cost close to 200 billion.
Ooh, my God.
And the project was initiated by Wike in the twilight of his administration, and actually part of it has been awarded. There were allegations that Fubara stopped or wanted to stop
Viewers, sorry, Barrister Manta's screen has frozen. Okay, are you there?
Yes,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes, I don't know what happened. Maybe network. Okay, please go ahead.
The internet connection is unstable.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, so like I was saying, even though we cannot know the full details and extent of this disagreement, at least some of them that are in the open, we know, and knowing the person of Wike, we know that he cannot sit by and watch. And he himself has said as much, that nobody can sit by and watch his own structure being taken away from him in order to render him useless politically. So you can see where the disagreement has come from. The intervention by PDP governors, the intervention by President Tinubu have apparently calmed down the situation, but we don't know to what extent
it will not. Yeah, but in my own opinion, I don't think it will calm down. But unlike, okay, not unlike, just like other instances, I don't think Wike will succeed in unseating that guy. Excuse me. I think such situation only happened, such success happened during, can you remind me which governor eventually, who succeeded in unseating his successor?
What is happening is a playbook of what happened in Lagos. You know that
yeah, because I know, correct. Yes, my Ambode
controlled Lagos so tightly that when Ambode wanted a second term,
yes,
the whole governors of APC, the presidency, then everybody, they gathered to beg Tinubu, but he refused. He disagreed. He refused to concede a second term to Ambode. And Ambode himself saw that the entire House of Assembly were in the pockets of Tinubu. So there was no way he could move forward. So he had to concede. He had to swallow his second term ambition. I think Wike is trying to play that book. He has managed to ensure that at least 2/3 of the House of Assembly are loyal to him. He has managed to ensure that the elders in Rivers State are behind him. And most of the structures there are his structures. So you see that 24 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly are behind Wike, and they were the ones who signed the notice of impeachment against 8 members that were supporting Fubara. So you see the situation is fluid. Even though they had to sit and suspend the 8 members, including the majority leader, who are supporting Fubara, in order to carry on with the impeachment. Fubara's 8 members also sat and elected their own speaker and adjourned the House indefinitely. So this is the fluid situation that we have in Rivers State. What remains now is for the intervention of political actors.
Yeah, unfortunately, the thing is degenerating into tribal stuff. I think Wike is from, say, Ikwere or so. The Fubara is an Ijaw man. So it's getting to that point, and if it blows fully in that direction, it will eventually become a very difficult situation in Rivers State. Unfortunately, to go beyond what we are just saying, because the judges are saying, this is our son, this is our person. Why is it? Why would there be such thing when it is our time for us to rule? So they are just the Nigerian factor. They are bringing in the Nigerian factor. You know, Nigerians. The moment you try to defeat the powers that be, you try to defeat the power that be. They just instigate tribal sentiments and tribal, religious, or regional sentiments to create division. I think that is what is happening. Unfortunately, I don't think the division is coming from the Wike camp. The division is actually coming from the Fubara camp. So that is just it. Anyway, excuse me. Now let's move to the next topic we have that has to do with the nation. What is the state of the nation? Can you give us your opinion of the state of the nation? I just don't understand what is going on. Obviously, everybody I expected that. Other people should expect that. That Tinubu is not coming to govern. He's just coming to loot. He's just coming to take advantage of the nation's weaknesses and loot the treasury, because his policies and his actions and body languages has been speaking to this effect so far. I heard about the budget he submitted to the National Assembly on Aso Rock and first ladies, and including buying a yacht, for God's sake, spending 5 billion naira to buy presidential yacht. Well, if I want to have this is completely strange to me.
6 billion.
6 billion to buy presidential yacht, for God. Yeah, what do you mean? What do you need yacht for God's sake? But this is please, can you talk to us about about this?
Let me start by saying that you know that in the US, constitutionally, the president is required to make an address to the Congress on the state of the nation.
Yes.
And they always say the state of the nation is good.
It's good, yeah. And
you
strong.
Never hear a president say the state of the nation is bad.
Yes.
I wish we had something like that.
Like that.
But having said that, let me say that in one sentence that the state of the nation is bad.
Yeah, extremely bad.
Let me say the worst ever in the history of Nigeria in terms of comparison. And you can trace that to so many factors. And I've said and made the point that one of the biggest problems we have, apart from the followership not being enlightened, the leadership and our elites take advantage of our underdevelopment of an illiterate population, and they manipulate everything from the economy to politics to whatever. And this has been going on for quite a while. When you see somebody like Tinubu becoming president, before and during the course of the electioneering campaign, you hear a lot of propaganda. This man did wonders in Lagos. He was governor of Lagos, the largest state with the largest economy. He knows the road. Let's follow the president that knows roads. That's the way Nigerians talk. That he is vast. You see, I was not one of the people who could succumb to that cheap propaganda, because I expect and I know that before a leader will succeed, you have to come to power with a clear-cut agenda, with a clear-cut plan, be it economic, political, or legislative. You expect a Tinubu who has been governor of Lagos and who has sought the presidency for close to 20 years to have had a very clear economic agenda,
plan,
which would have even been reduced into writing, circulated for criticism of Nigerians over the years. Let people critique it and input be made into it, so that when he becomes president, he will hit the ground running, as he used to say during the campaign. Now, you now see now that there was nothing like that. They are now reacting to situations. And when you react to situations, it does not work. You talk about removing fuel subsidy, but you did not even study the whole situation, the hiccups that will come along the way. In his first speech, he said that fuel subsidy has gone. But as we speak now, the government is paying fuel subsidy. So you will see from day one, what they were saying. One, they were not well thought out, they were not well articulated, they were not well critiqued. So he becomes just like a Buhari presidency that came to power apparently to end his life on a high note. I have money, I have been a governor, I have money, let me end my life as a president. So this is mostly what you can see in Nigerian politicians. They come with no articulated program. As we speak, if you do not pay subsidy, the petroleum price will now be more than 1,000 naira per liter. Because against what we are paying now, 620. But I would have expected anybody, even I'm not an economist, but the issues are factual, and anybody can see that if you remove the fuel subsidy, now you are putting the price of petrol at the pump on the market forces. So whenever the price of crude oil goes up, it means the pump price will also go up. Now it will come to a point where the economy cannot sustain it. Even as we speak, the economy is barely able to sustain the current fuel prices. And everything depends on energy. Everything depends on the fuel, be it industries or transportation or whatever. It comes down to fuel to run the power that will power, whether it's industry that will power transportation. So if they had sat down and thought about it, removing this fuel subsidy, what will happen when the prices continue to increase? Are we going to allow them to continue increasing at the pump price, at the pump station, or what? Now when you now are confronted with the hiccups in the system, you have no plan, you have no answer. So you fall back on failed attempts that have been made in the past called palliatives. We have tried issue of palliatives in successive governments. It never works, it never solves the problem, it never helps the poor. But because you came without a well thought out plan, you have no answer. You are now talking about palliatives, that you pay people 35,000. What is 35,000 naira? As we speak, a family of 4 can barely live on 100,000 naira per salary, because the prices of foodstuff, the prices of ordinary day-to-day household items.
What are you talking about, barrister? What do you mean by family of 4? one person, for God's sake.
I'm just giving.
What would 100,000 do for one person?
I'm just giving a template. I'm not going into that figure. I'm just giving you a template. The prices of household items, the prices of foodstuff, the prices of essential things, they do not rise per month, they rise weekly. If you go to market this week and buy things, next week you go, the price is not the same. It has gone up. How do you plan as a family on a budget, a salary that is not much? Look at the exchange rate. At one point, it went to 1,200 naira per dollar. How do the economy sustain that kind of inflationary trend? It's not possible. So they are moving from pillar to post because they did not come with an articulated economic agenda. That is one of the big problems. And then you are operating in a political environment that is polluted, that is corrupted. You cannot call on the unity of the Nigerian population to fall behind you in this present condition, in these present difficulties, because of polarization in the politics. So you can point to the economic front, you will not see much hope there. You point to the political front, you will not see much hope there. And these two fronts, political and economic, they impact on the social front. So the social nerve connecting Nigerians have been broken. And when a situation like that comes, there's an exacerbation of ethnic, religious, people retreat to their tribal, to their ethnic and geopolitical enclaves, to the detriment of national unity and national development. So nobody, even the ministers of government, cannot come out today and tell you that the state of the nation is good. And sincerely, nobody can tell you that in the next 5 years or 6 years, things will be better. Because you have to plant now before you expect a good harvest. We have not seen any tangible thing that the government is doing. They are planning to borrow about $7.something billion.
For God's sake, for just on consumption, for God's sake.
On top of the homogeneous debt that Buhari's government increased. And how are they spending this money? Let me tell you. Each member of the National Assembly, they have bought a Jeep for 160 million for them.
That's the point.
The president in the budget say he wants a yacht of 6 billion. And somebody has just said that the contract for that was already awarded and the yacht supplied. It was only payment that was being awaited. When the story broke out, they are running from here to deny, to shift it to the Navy, to shift it. What does the Navy need a yacht for? Meanwhile, in the budget, it was 10 presidential yachts. So this is the way they are spending the money, as if Nigeria is a very rich country, as if there's no tomorrow. You have this kind of problem, and then you are becoming extravagant, spending as if the money will continue to flow.
These are the
and
people.
Where the money flowing is from increasing taxation of the already impoverished population, not from outside sources. Taxation is being increased across the country on all fronts.
It's so unfortunate. These are the same people who keep telling Nigerians, be patient, be patient, be patient. Yet, with the little resources the country has, the loan you collect, you secure from international community, you use it on frivolities and luxuries and for personal comfort. A sort of I can't just understand what is going on, for God's sake. I don't know. These people are so. What kind of evil is this? This is wickedness and evil at the highest level of governance, for God's sake. You know what is happening. You know how poverty is ravaging the country at this time. You know how the middle class is being decimated, for God's sake. You know how the country is on the edge, for God's sake. Yet, I don't really understand these people. Of course, it's impunity. They just feel who are you? There's nothing nothing you can do about it. Under normal circumstances, any sensitive leader will not want to do this nonsense. In the midst of people being impoverished, the poverty rate increasing by the day, rising by the day. You still go ahead. You are still going ahead to spend on, for God's sake, First Lady's. Can you imagine First Lady's office? $1.8 or $2 billion. Sorry, naira worth of cars. What do you, First Lady, for God's sake? The Constitution does not even recognize the office of the First Lady. Why do we have to spend that kind of money for First Lady? Why do you have to spend money for a yacht? For God's sake, yacht for the presidency? What do you need yacht for? What does the presidency need yacht for God's sake? The presidential jet, that's understandable, to travel from one point to the other. Of course, you're not expected to go to board the commercial airline, just like even though British Prime Minister does that or whatever.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to intervene to say. You said the president is not expected to join commercial. Who is not expecting? The British Prime Minister, who is bigger than Nigerian president, traveling by commercial flight.
Yeah, no, but honestly,
let me add that I did not mention that in the midst of all this economic reality, the president has appointed over 40-something ministers. And the number of aides, nobody knows in fact, in the communication sector alone, the number of aides that he has appointed, I'm sure they are going to almost 40. Information and communication. If you put the total number of aides that the president, he has not stopped, he's continually appointing aides. For what? Why do we need all these 40-something ministers and eventually we'll get over 100 aides? And then we see that being replicated in the states.
Yeah.
In the midst of this economic meltdown, in the midst of this problem. So you can understand that they want more revenue from taxation, from sale of fuel, but the revenue is not for the development of the country or for the benefit of the average Nigerian. The revenue is so that the political class can live affluent lives at the expense of the Nigerian citizen.
This is insensitivity at the extreme. Honestly, it is callous. It is wicked, for God's sake. I don't know why people behave like this. Why the powers that be, the establishment behave like they are so selfish. It is so sad. Honestly, it is extremely sad. Now that takes us to the next point. Do we see? I know you have even said in the next 5 years we don't expect any change. We expect rather worse situation. Yeah, but I understand 5 years. Okay, but 5 years. Okay, 5 years. But do we see? Is there? Can you say you can see an end in sight to the decimation? We talked about this issue of middle class. The middle class, Nigeria has no longer has middle class. The middle class, it is just two classes now. The top class, the top class, and the bottom, the class, the low class. So no more middle. The top and the low, the up and the low rather class. No more middle. So what do you see an end in sight to this? Because if this trend continues, because no country survives without middle class. The success and the survival of any country is dependent on the middle class. So, Barrister, what do you think? Do you see this? Can you say to see an end in sight to the decimation of the Nigerian middle class?
I'm afraid no, because the economy is continuing to hemorrhage, and along with it, the middle class. The fate of the middle class depends on a robust economy, and they in turn uphold a considerable measure of employment and then the economy itself. But with the way things are going in Nigeria today, the middle class is going down, and with it, there are chances of creating employment across the board, across the country. The government can only create a few, maybe a few 100,000
jobs.
Industries where there are massive industrialization, industries create a large number of jobs. Even there, it is the middle class that creates the level of jobs in millions, which are replicated throughout the country, that keeps young people and others employed. Now, when the middle class can no longer create that, when they themselves have begun to struggle, they are no longer able to create that employment for those low-level and middle-level workers. Then the whole thing comes down to no middle class, just the poor and the rich. That is the situation in Nigeria now. And we are not seeing, let me repeat, we are not seeing the kind of policies that will reflect the economy and also bring stability to the middle class and allow them to perform the kind of functions that they do perform that help the overall health of the economy. We are not seeing such hope. Now, let me define the middle class. In virtually every country, the middle class can be referred to a certain level of public service workers who are on a certain level. The majority of them are private citizens conducting their business at their level in their millions. You can term lawyers, accountants. Now, out of all these professionals, some have reached, you can say some of them belong to the rich class, but majority, 90% belong to the middle class. Now, if the economy is not supporting these people to remain at the level they are, it is going to impact on their ability to replicate jobs throughout the country, because they are also struggling, as we find today in Nigeria. And then the policies, the economic policies that will help the middle class stabilize. The inflation is going out of hand. Everything about, we don't have manufacturing in Nigeria. And an economy cannot just be based on services alone. That will be a fluke. As long as we do not have positive manufacturing in Nigeria, we are always going to have foreign exchange contradictions, because we need to sell a considerable measure of products to earn foreign exchange. Now, we have only oil, and like we said, the price of oil goes up and down. But majorly, we belong to an oil bloc, the OPEC, that regulate the amount of oil we can bring out of the ground and sell. And when you look at the population of Nigeria, getting to 200, we are limited to about 2 million barrels a day by OPEC. Whereas countries like Saudi Arabia that have a few population can produce up to 5 to 7 million barrels a day. That itself is not equitable. We are doing equality when we are supposed to be doing equity. Equality is, okay, we produce more oil than you. We have more reserves of oil, so we should be allowed to produce and sell more oil than you. But equity, we go down and see we need more oil because we have a larger population to take care of. That is my own quarrel with the OPEC cartel that limits a country like Nigeria to 2 million barrels a day, while giving to
no, but but hold on. I think I don't know. I don't know much about oil, but the truth is, I think what I understood all over the years is, excuse me, in Nigerian case, in that of Saudi case, other countries' case, I don't know, but in Nigeria's case, what I understood over the years is that that is the capacity that we can produce daily. That is just it. That if we can produce more than that, we'll actually be able to contribute to the OPEC more than that as well.
No. If you understand the OPEC, every country has been allocated a particular number of barrels that you can sell.
I understand
now,
that.
The capacity is one thing. Capacity can be ramped up based on investment. Okay. If we ramp up our capacity today to produce 4 million, we cannot be allowed to produce because our quota is 2 million. That's just the fact. For that quota to be increased, the whole OPEC cartel will have to be reorganized and reset the quota price. Crude quota will have to be reset. And in resetting that, they do not use the metric of population. They use the metric of oil reserves. How much oil reserve do you have? And then they allocate. There's some time in the past that some economists have asked Nigeria to leave OPEC and invest and produce as much oil as they can to solve our problems. But then you see where the economy is, world economy is moving now from, led by the US and Western countries, to move away from oil to other sources of energy. So investment in the oil sector, as we are in Nigeria, we have 2 million barrels, even though we are up to now, we are not producing up to that amount because the capacity has been tampered with because of theft of crude oil.
Yes, theft.
And other factors. We are not even able to produce.
That's my point again. That's my point. Now, like I said earlier, I understand that OPEC actually regulates it's a quota system. They regulate quantity of oil that comes from member nations. I understand that. My point is this, because I think I've read in the past of how this thing is done. First of all, they assess your capacity. OPEC assess your capacity and the viability of being consistent with that capacity. Those are the things they do. I think, honestly, based on what I have read in the past, I think that Nigeria could get more than what we are. It may not be much more, but more than our current quota contribution. If we had proven to be reliable, because what matters is reliability with OPEC. How reliable are you? Okay, if we say contribute 3 million as against 2 million barrels, how reliable can we get? Because this thing is, if you are not reliable, it affects the international market. If you are supposed to be supplying or contributing about 3 million, and at the end of the day, and the plan, the program, the schedule is projected based on 3 million, Saudi gets 3.5, you 3 million, this, that, whatever. And at the end of the day, someone defaults, falls short of its contribution. What happens? It will affect the projection. And that's the point. So this issue of crude oil theft actually contributes to the OPEC, contribute to the OPEC's decision to allocate 2 million contribution from Nigeria. So because that is just it. It is about unreliability. That is the point. Otherwise, Nigeria could go beyond what we are contributing now. Now, on the issue of we can expand on this oil, look, I don't see the feasibility. You just mentioned this oil theft. This oil theft is the major, is a major problem to the Nigerian economy. Major, real major, because that is where we talk about consistency. Economy. I'm not an economist. I have zero knowledge of economics. However, this is just a common sense thing. Inconsistency affects economies, and that's just the truth. The moment revenue generation is not consistent, it's like this month and like that a different way the next month or whatever, it affects the economy. That's just the truth. Economy is a very, very sensitive system that really craves consistency. And that's how economies grow. Otherwise, you have this issue we are having now. The oil theft is a very serious. So with that, I don't think we can ever achieve that. Anyway, sorry, this moment is not, we're not into oil or whatever, because that is not our point right now. I don't want us to stay long on this, except you have something you want to just chip in briefly. We can move to the next level.
No, I only want to summarize on the state of the nation.
Yeah.
That we are politically unstable, economically weak, and socially debilitated. So on all indices, there's nothing to be hopeful about. Things are bad on all levels: economic, political, social.
Okay. Thank you for that. That brings us to the next topic. What is the solution forward? What are the solutions, or what is the solution to taking Nigeria pulling us away from these wars, these current wars? Because the wars are massive, they are numerous, they are heavy. The weight is just it is overbearing on Nigerians. It is immeasurable. Honestly, it is immeasurable. I feel that, I see that, I hear that. It is immeasurable. So what do you think, in your opinion, could be or will be the solution to take Nigeria? Or is it a hopeless situation? Do you think this is just an indefinite thing to remain forever? It has come to stay? Or you think there are things, if we do or implement, there are actions, if we take certain actions, things can be mitigated, the situation can be mitigated or can be reversed?
Well, this question is so broad-based that it's difficult to answer it in a short time. But let me try as much as possible to paraphrase. The solutions to Nigeria's multifaceted problems is also multifaceted. We can look at several development models. We can do what the Chinese did. We can close our country and develop from within. China did that. For a long time, they closed the country. You want to eat foreign food, we don't bother about that. We eat what is produced in China. The quality of goods they were producing was very poor, but they were using it as long as they were producing in China. Over time, these goods, the quality began to improve. They stopped importation of virtually everything that they didn't need. If we can really want Nigeria to start on the path of progress, we can adopt something like that. When I hear all the noise being made about certain things like rice importation, I just look at the problem. We import up to before the CBN banned some things. We are importing toothpicks. We are importing combs to comb our hair. We import everything. How can the local economy grow? And any economy that does not produce, we continue to have problems. I am of the view that we can also close our country. But the elites who are used to the opulence which they have got from stealing Nigeria's from the public treasury will not accept it, because they have the money to spend on these frivolous, on these things that are avoidable. So they will not allow. But if it's possible, we can close our country, retreat to our foodstuff, eat what Nigerians produce, and begin to agricultural industries and production begin to improve. We have our foodstuff, we have yams, we have gari, we have locally produced rice. We have so many things that we produce. We can begin to look at how we can improve those products, refine them, with it for Nigeria's use, and eventually for foreign sales. Our raw materials that they take from the soil and sell without, and then we get the end products from Europe at a higher price. We can do the calibration here, where we can also bring out the raw materials, refine them, and make them into several products for our use as well as for sale, for exportation. As long as we refuse to do this, our penchant for foreign products, our import-based economy will continue to be unstable. The issues of foreign exchange will continue to stifle our economic growth. We will continue to be a source of raw materials and services for other countries. We produce coffee in raw form and send it. And this thing is turned into so many different types. You have more than 100 types of coffees produced from the West and from China. And they sell it back to us, they consume it and sell it back to us. You can mention any product, it will be done. But all these things we are talking, nothing will work if we do not first settle our political stability. That is the first point of call. How do we rule ourselves without rancor? How do we select our leaders without bloodshed? How do we ensure that we select people that we put the country first, work for the country? How do we dissipate the growing and dangerous trend of religious intolerance in Nigeria? Because today, everything that you do is looked at from the prism of religion or ethnicity. In such an atmosphere, it is difficult to rally the country as a whole behind any project, behind any principle, or behind any policy. It's virtually impossible. So before we blame outsiders, before we blame other things, we first have to look inwards and blame ourselves. If we do not achieve political stability, we will also not be able to achieve economic stability. So what we are supposed to do is first, let's sit down and agree on a political formula for political power and administration across Nigeria, both at the federal level and at the local levels. We always say that the local levels are closest to the people, and thereby you have local governments. But in Nigeria, you and me know that the local governments are virtually useless. They are just there at the end of the month. They get allocation from federation account and pay salary, and everybody go away. So the whole purpose of bringing the administration closer to the people has been defeated. Then you come to the state government. They are not accountable to the people. They are not even ready to do the hard work that will result in good product and good results for their people. They are not ready to look inwards. I gave an example. There's a former governor of our state that as we spoke when he was about to contest, we sat down and spoke for hours. I said, look, if you become governor, if you aggregate all the money that is coming to the state from federation accounts and the internal revenue, which is nothing, the internal revenue in that state is virtually nothing to think about. So if you look at these two sources of income, you can rule for 100 years and you will not bring any serious development to that state. So you think out of the box. How do you generate an economy from this situation that we have on the ground? We have things that can be turned into money, but it requires hard work and industry. Our current levels of politicians are not ready to do the hard work that will result in that kind of progress. So whenever somebody asks what is the solution to Nigeria's problem, it is difficult to answer because we are principally part of the problem. Because at the end of the day, the leadership is drawn from among Nigerians. So it is a difficult thing. The whole reorientation of the Nigerian mindset has to be carried out. Our mindset is wrong. We think foreign things are better. We take it as status symbol if you are using foreign stuff or you are traveling abroad or doing anything like that. Well, we should be proud of our heritage, proud of what we can produce, proud of our environment. We are not. So any model that you bring, the problems that are inherent in our current situation, we sabotage it. We have talked about the type of government as between civilian and military before. I don't want to go into that again, because whichever thing you do, some of these factors are still there. I asked somebody in our state that what will happen if you become a governor and you change the civil service rules and say that everybody should dress in the native attire, which is produced locally. We have hundreds of thousands of workers. Everybody, all civil servants, as long as you are a public servant of the state, you're going to work should be in a native attire. What will be the impact of those local industries producing those attires? It will be massive. We're talking of hundreds of thousands of workers. You will transform that local industry into something else. All you can do is maybe you bring some fashion designers, design. If it's suit you want, you design it with it. If it's agbada you want, you use those local fabrics. But you are going to transform that local industry from nothing, from within what you already have. And it will not take much money. Promotion in the civil service is not just the clothing, it's the whole set of values, full stop. Promotion in that civil service will depend on how people key into the new set of mindset and rules you want to set. That way, you are going to have a critical mass of people going in one direction, using what they have improving on what they have rather than constantly trying to buy stuff, foreign stuff, and glorifying themselves in using and use of foreign products. That's just an example.
Yeah, that example. Honestly, we mentioned that example. That is a very, very good idea. I'm telling you, because I think that is one of the major things killing Nigeria. We are so foreign. Our mindset is just foreign. We just have focus foreign. Anything, just like you said, if it's not foreign, no, there is no validity. If it's not foreign, nobody validates you. If it's not foreign, nobody sees you as or whatever. An ordinary Nigerian, average Nigerian, want to see you with a designer's clothes, a designer's this, name that. If they don't see you with it, if you're dressing so simple or whatever, and you just walk into, even if you're a multi-millionaire or billionaire, you walk into a place, nobody recognizes you until someone says, you know that person is this so person. And now you see everybody's reaction. We change, we tilt towards the part of honor. So that is a very, very bad mentality. That's one of the things that is actually killing our country. Now, coming back to the solution, I'll differ with you a little on that, because I've always believed, and I've always believed, and I'll still keep believing that drastic situations requires drastic measures. The more, the worse the situation, the heavier the solution. I always tell people something. I always say, no pain, no gain. Gold, as beautiful as it is, we all know the process it passes through to come out the way it is, to eventually end up looking the way it looks. So you don't admire anything. Talk building a structure from the foundation. You see, when you are building a structure from the foundation, if at this environment, if I find myself, this environment I am right now, it's even worse. There are times you get to the site, you see something building from the scratch and you see what is going on. Everything looks so ugly and so, what is this? You come in, you don't even see it. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense to you. What is it? And you come after the whole thing is done, it's completed. You won't believe. They show you the picture of what it was and what it is now. You won't believe that. So that is it. What it takes. If you see all the artisans from everybody on board, all the different contributors to that structure, what they pass through, the pressure, real pressure, intense pressure. Sometimes they build to whatever it doesn't align to whatever the client comes and says, pull it down, or do this, or do that, or do that. And when you are doing that, it is at your own cost, at your own expense. It's so at the end of the day, it eventually comes out beautifully, but not without a cost. It comes out beautifully with cost of time, energy, resources, everything, your mental, psychological efforts, everything there. Sometimes it comes with physical effort that affects you physically, not just mentally or psychologically, affects you physically as well. And the same way I see the Nigerian situation. We cannot solve this problem by just analyzing, providing this and that or whatever. We have to do it this way. We have to the economy. What Nigeria, we have gone past that. You can only provide such solution to countries that are developed and civilized, that they can actually achieve from. But Nigerian situation, the Nigerian case, requires a very, very aggressive, drastic, and detailed measure. It goes beyond, just like you said earlier, you pointed out, earlier, our problems are multifaceted. Our problems are so numerous that you just can't. Anyway, it started from the foundation. The foundation was faulty, and that is why you cannot build on a faulty foundation. If you build on a faulty foundation, that foundation, the building will collapse. And that brings me to my point. Dissolution, either way, either by peaceful means or by any means necessary. Everyone should go his way. Initially, I've been against this issue of Biafra going their way, but I've come to understand that, look, I think that is the way. Let me tell you one thing. It will bring prosperity to all the regions. Let me be frank with you. Let me give you my reason why I believe going our separate ways will bring prosperity. Excuse me. That's what we call a healthy competition. Me generally, I don't like competitions, but sometimes I can tolerate the healthy competition. I hate competition. I don't compete. But sometimes when it comes to, there are some competitions I can accommodate, which I consider to be healthy. Now, especially when the Igbo man goes, when the Igbo region, the Eastern region goes, I am telling you, some of that region may be tempted to say, okay, which we want to leave. And at the end of the day, yes, there is no doubt you will have issues with various ethnic groups, even within that same region. It happens, even family, you and your siblings, in our respective homes and families, we have squabbles, but it never stopped us from being blood relations. So it is how it happens. Even twins, children born from the same womb, the same day, have issues. We always encounter issues. It's natural. It's normal. There's nothing wrong there. So this issue of if these people go, they will have ethnic issues within themselves. Why? Let's not bother about that. But my own focus is competition will build all the regions. Even the so-called North that we think they are lazy. I am telling you, if the North is compelled to go itself, to move away, to leave Nigeria as a nation, as an entity, I am telling you, they will sit up. They will sit up. When they see what the East is doing, they see what the West is doing or whatever, they will sit up. Like I said, it will generate, it will spur up healthy competition. Everybody wants to outdo the other. It's just like what China is doing. What China did is, China basically did part of what I'm just enumerating. The only thing is, they did it in a very, very smart way by, like you said, closing themselves, closing the door, shutting the door, not to the world, but shutting the door of the world to themselves. So they can take out, but they wouldn't allow in. So that is the point. Now, but while they were doing this, they were busy. It was a healthy competition, competing with other nations, because they were looking at other nations, stealing their technology, stealing their ideas, stealing their innovations, just to outsmart them. That's a competition. A sort of the same thing. Let me be frank with you. If the same thing happens in Nigeria, that if we allow the Igbos, the Easterners, to go their separate ways, I'm telling you, the same thing will happen. They may be, the other regions may be stealing from one to the other, one idea, just like what China has been doing. And that is what brought China to where it is today. China is what it is today by stolen ideas, stolen technology, stolen innovation, stolen inventions. They are there and that is the survival of the fittest. The same thing can happen when it comes to Nigeria. I'm telling you, we need to go our separate ways. At least, if not the 6 regions first, at least first, the East go in separate ways, the West can whatever. But I want it to be done organically, peacefully. But if it's not, if it cannot be, the powers that be will not allow it to be done, then the needful has to take place. We have to do the needful. Let it come in a violent way, but that's not the point. I'm telling you, Barrister, I do not see an end in sight, even with all these solutions you proffered. Honestly, because just like you said, we have an entrenched problem that is so entrenched, embedded in this, engraved within the fibers of Nigeria. So such problems, you can't with such problem, you can't, all the solutions you are profiling it won't work. It can't work. So that is just the point. Right now, as it is, honestly, the foundation is faulty. Because it is faulty, there is nothing, no matter how you patch a building. If the foundation is faulty, you patch it. If there's a crack today, you try to patch it, you mend the crack or whatever. The next time, again, give it some time, you see another crack from a different point, a different side of the building. Like that, because the foundation is faulty. If the foundation is faulty, building, we are naturally, professionally, it's said that when the foundation is faulty, you pull down the building. It will cost much. It will cost so much. There's no doubt about that, but you may have no option but just to pull down the building and start afresh. That is what Nigeria needs. That is what we need. Put sentiments aside. That is the bitter reality that we have faced. Otherwise, honestly, we will not move forward. Things will keep getting worse and worse. That's just my own opinion. And I think in my own opinion, it is cogent enough. Barrister, excuse me, I want you to round up with a thought, what you have in mind, if you have any other thing to say as regard to what are our topic, the current topic of discussion. Tell us what you feel, especially about what I just said, especially coming from my own angle. What do you think, rounding up this show?
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you on certain aspect of it. One, that our problem is foundational. It started from the foundation, and it has come a long way. But right now, I also agree that we are going from bad to worse each time. But I believe that there's still window for Nigeria to remain one and progress if certain adjustments are made, than for a violent breakup of the country that will put us, only God knows how long it will put us back. I have hope and I believe that what you said, competition by the various ethnic groups or zones, can be done within the entity called Nigeria, as long as a good measure of devolution of powers is done to the regions. We had regions in the First Republic. We had each region had its own constitution before we had a national constitution. We may go back to that and allow regions to control themselves, control their resources, and develop at their own space, even while remaining in the entity called Nigeria. That will spur competition among the various regions. That will also sort out a lot of things. You will stay in one place, not by compulsion, but by choice. Because as it is now, people are being made to stay in certain areas by compulsion. If you are a federal worker, if you belong to a certain distinct, an employee, you are posted to a place, you cannot say no. So if we devolve a sufficient amount of powers, particularly control over resources, this bitter fight for national power, which is a euphemism for sharing of the national cake, will be reduced. Let people who produce something in the area control it. Pay tax to the federal government.
Yeah.
They will be able to administer themselves in their enclave. It is done, there are many examples of this throughout the world. The center will be weaker. The regions will be stronger.
Yeah, but
I believe there is a window for that, for Nigeria's survival. But the current model, I agree with you that the current model of Nigeria will not lead to the survival of Nigeria. That much I agree. If we continue going the way we are going, there's only one end, and it could be a violent split. If we continue going in the manner we are going today.
yeah.
So we should still come together and fashion out how much power will devolve to the regions and how much control of the resources from each region should be left to those regions.
Yeah, the truth is, again, we have people, you just like you have so many people, several people have profiled solutions. Like I said, the status quo, the environment cannot work. Those solutions cannot thrive in this current status quo. It cannot. It cannot. Now, the issue of devolving powers to the 6 regions or 3 as it used to be. I think it was Abacha that divided into 6 or whatever. So, look, the powers that be will not let it be. They cannot. Look, the Enahoros and what's these 3 of them, whatever, the Awolowos, the Enahoros of those days. These are things that they've been singing about. You can imagine for how many decades people are still singing about it. What is happening? Are we even walking towards that direction? We're going far. We're still moving farther away. Remember how we started. We started with the British system, the parliamentary system. Yeah? What happened? Suddenly, we just changed to the American crazy system, the crazy American system, presidential system. That America is working well with the American system because of the foundation again. It boils down to the foundation. It's working very well with the American system because what is happening in America today for the past 3-4 years, if it were not the foundation of this country, America, what is happening today, America could have collapsed. What is holding America today is the foundation. The foundation is very, very strong. You read the history on how this country was made, this country was brought to bear. You understand that you understand how strong the foundation of this country is, and that is what is keeping America. That is why America has not fallen over the years. That is why no matter their challenge or whatever, they've passed through so many challenges, it still keeps them moving. That is the problem. That is what Nigeria, that is the virtue, that is the strength Nigeria lacks. And that is why even when we started with the parliamentary system, we switched to presidential system. That parliamentary system could have been better for us. That is the system that the British operates. That is the system Israel operates. Sort of. And that our system could have even been better than better because in our system we are a multi-ethnic system, environment country, unlike the British, like Britain rather. So in our own case, it could have been what you have just said, power devolving to different regions. All the regions, all the regions. But we didn't allow that to work because of the very bad foundation. We just switched, not too long, we switched to presidential system, which has killed, okay, I wouldn't say killed, it's killing this country, that it has taken us to a state of comatose. That's just the truth. And because of that, if we left what you just suggested, what you proffered as solution, and switch to presidential, so many years ago, switch to presidential, and you think the people who switched up, they had their motives, their ulterior and selfish motives why they switched us to presidential system. And the same people, some of them are still alive today. Some of them are proteges of the people who actually laid this foundation. So even though the people who laid the foundation are dead, but they have proteges that are still alive. They have loyalists that are still alive today. A sort of so it won't. What you just honestly, you see this issue of Nadeko and all those group, those during the Abacha and during the Babangida Abacha regime, they tried to do all this to push this thing for. What happened? Nothing. Some of them were threatened to be killed. Some of them were even killed. So many of them went on exile. Look, Barrister, let's call a spade a spade. Let's tell ourselves the truth. It's a bitter truth, but that's the reality. Nigeria can never be better with this system, just like you admitted. And all the solutions you proffered, the environment is not enabling for such solutions to thrive. It is not. So the only way is either we peacefully separate, go our separate ways, and indulge in healthy competition, or violence take the order of the day, becomes the order of the day. Either way, we just have to go by. Honestly, we may have no option than to take either of these paths. That's just it. So just like America, unlike America, the state of the Nigerian nation, or as Americans will say, the State of the Union, it is extremely weak. Americans will say the State of the Union is strong. Nigeria, the State of the Union, is weak. It is extreme, not just weak, it is extremely weak, that it is collapsing. And I just hope...
I agree with you on that conclusion wholeheartedly.
So if we allow a President Bola Tinubu to continue, in fact, President Bola Tinubu's continuation in leadership will even make it much worse, much precarious, much desperate for change, honestly. And that is justice. Call it military, call it organic revolution, violent revolution, a spontaneous one. Whichever way, I just feel and I know that we cannot move forward except something drastic, something that will be very painful. It will take so much away from us. There's no doubt about that. It has to happen. It has to happen. People are suffering. People are languishing in pain, penury, poverty. Everything every negativity right now is just prevalent in Nigeria. And this powers that be has to give way. They have to give way. And giving way, we have to be, look, honestly, I'm surprised we don't have protests, on at least peaceful protests. Especially after the Supreme Court judgment. I was shocked. No protests. And at least start from somewhere, peaceful protests. People should go on the street, carry placards. Occupy government establishments, government institutions, the environment. Occupy a seat of power, occupy. And stay, my God, we really, really, really need to act and act fast. Otherwise, the Nigerian system will collapse on everybody. If we don't act now, it will collapse on everyone, everybody. which will not be, it will not go well with anyone. So viewers, as we come to the end of this program, please, you heard all we have said so far. Send your comments. What do you think is the solution to the Nigerian problem? Do you think something can salvage? There is something that can salvage our current situation? Please make your comments known. Make your opinion. Make your opinion known to us by sending us your comments. Participate in this. This is our country. We need to pull ourselves together, join hands, and see how we can move forward. So if you think you have a solution, you have a solution to profile, please note it down in our comment session. Let's have, if you disagree with me or disagree with our erudite guest, Barrister Austin Manta, please let us know, and with dialogue, we'll talk about it. We can discuss about it. Be rest assured you will receive response from us. Thank you so very much, Barrister Manta, and thank you for our viewers for being with us. For the ones that are new, coming in, showing up for the first time, we appreciate you. This is Oweleketv, and the show is called JIBRIN Angle. On this show, what you just heard, what you just watched is exactly what we do on this show. We just say it this way it is. We analyze issues and profile solutions to lingering problems, especially that borders Nigeria. We deal on other climes as well, but we are mostly focused on the Nigerian nation, and that is just it. So please keep in touch with us, and those of you that are being in touch, please keep being in touch. We appreciate your audience. We appreciate your time. Thank you so very much. Once again, Barrister Manta, thank you for your time, very scarce time that you always avail us to be here. Thank you for availing yourself to be a very regular guest, that you have never said no to us anytime we ask you to come grace our show. So we thank you so much. Viewers, once again, this is JIBRIN Angle on Oweleketv. Thank you very much. Join us once again, as we take on another next topic by next week, same time. God bless you. My name is JIBRIN. Remain blessed.